Hey friends, it's Karen from Karen Test Stuff. It's been a while since I've made a video, but I got the idea today to do something a little bit different. It's not a kind of video that I've usually made. Usually around this time of year, I make kind of an end of the year wrap up video, stuff I've learned, stuff I'm looking forward to next year. And I came up with a different theme. I've been thinking about gratitude a lot today, and I feel like it's really important for me to look back on some things that have happened recently and some things that have happened this year or even in my life that I'm really grateful for. I'm happy to be here for and that bring me some joy. And this is really important to me because it's been hard for me to stay totally positive recently. In the last year, in fact, it's been a rough couple of years for me. If you know anything about my personal life, I got divorced. I moved across the world. I had trouble getting settled in my new place. It was a whole kind of series of events that I had to work through and that I've had to sort of come to terms with through different types of healing and processing. And now I feel like I'm in a really nice place, and I want to take a look back and kind of show some appreciation for some of the situations that I've been through and some of the people that I've met along the way. And speaking of people, because I recognize we're moving into 2025 without everybody who came into 2024. And I just wanted to recognize that there are some holes missing in the world where very kind people used to be. And we'll take on the memory of them with us. But I do recognize that this has been a tough year for some of us. And yeah. I'm sorry, I'm kind of quiet during this moment, but it's very important to me that I recognize this. Because for every step in any direction, I'm really grateful that I still have the opportunity to choose life and choose joy. Because in any of these situations, I could have given up. I could have stopped what I was doing and given up on some of my dreams and some of my goals for a little while. But instead of doing that, I gathered my courage and my community and accomplished some really amazing things this year. So let's jump into it. I don't have any slides or anything for this. It's just me talking at the camera, which might be kind of weird, but it's a little more of an audio only podcasty type deal here. So I'm just happy. One of the things that I'm grateful for is that I have my RGB set up again. So that's why my face is changing tones, and I really enjoy the rainbow cycles. If you can't tell with the borders and such. It just makes me feel more comfortable and makes me feel inspired to do colorful, creative things. So that's one of the things that I'm grateful for is that I went on a little trip with a friend of mine and we went to some shops and I found these perfect light sticks that just illuminate my entire room and make me feel very at home. That's another thing that I'm grateful for is that I have a warm, safe home that's full of laughter and music and life. And, you know, everybody struggles, but having somebody to lean on and to once again inspire me to think more creatively about the way I talk to myself and be kind to myself and have those little reminders on the days that I'm having a rough day, that it's okay, that I'm not alone, and and to laugh with and cry with sometimes. That's okay too, to just share those feelings of emotion with someone. Speaking of sharing emotions with people, I'm really grateful in a small way to a girl who stopped me on the street the other day, told me she liked my hat. I was wearing my rainbow knit crochet hat that an old friend of mine from the States made for me. And even though that friendship has moved on, I still keep that hat. And the girl, I have no idea who she was, only stopped for a moment, complimented my hat, and gave me the nicest smile. And I was really grateful for that little interaction on the street, because people here are so kind to me and patient with me most of the time. It really makes me feel welcome and feel seen. Um, I'm also grateful to myself for putting myself out there in new ways, to meet new people, to have these interactions with people on the street, and be open to that kind of connection with someone, even just for a moment. Because I've been taking myself to play Lorcana, a Disney card game, kind of like Magic the Gathering. I've been doing that once a week, every week that I can, to meet some new people, just like my friends in the States that I used to play with at a little local game shop. Um, I've found success again doing that here, going to these meetups and speaking with the people who live here in this city, and sharing some Disney love. Playing a game that is really exciting and makes me think creatively and find combinations of things to create more competitive ideas. And I usually lose, but that's okay because you don't get better playing people that are worse. You have to surround yourself with the people who are doing the things that you want to do, to get better, to find new deck ideas or new combinations of cards to put together, or different play styles. It's been really entertaining, and I'm still a little too nervous to ask anybody to hang out outside of that, but I will at some point. And the strangers who have chosen to become my friends over the last year, I'm very grateful for, because those people could easily have been just, hey, I like your hat. And that could have been the end of it, which would have been just fine. But instead, it became, hey, I really like your shoes. Can I hang out with you for a minute at a concert, that I went to by myself, and stopped to make some new Instagram friends. I'm grateful to the people that allowed me within their personal space for a few moments to create that feeling of connection with people in my community, because that's part of putting myself out there. I hope for something in return, for some transparent authenticity and, some acceptance. And those people who have chosen to become my friends out of this, you're invaluable treasures. It's been so eye-opening to see the kindness of others in these communities that I've found for myself, in the Lorcana community, in the software testing community, in the local community where I live. None of that would have been possible, however, without me taking the first step to put myself out there. Like I said, if I wouldn't have created the Karen Test Stuff YouTube channel that you're watching right now, I very likely might not be here in this moment and have the ability to share these things that I'm grateful for with you all. And that inspires me a lot, because I know that these videos reach people, and I hope that they inspire people to think creatively about their own situations, whether it be in mental health, software testing, or life in general, because just because life has been a certain way for a certain amount of time doesn't mean that there aren't new opportunities for inspiration or change. If you don't like the way something's going, you do have a choice in life. You have the ability to make new decisions. Like, most of us I'm making an assumption about my viewers here, but we're all like adults that have the power to change our lives with any decision that we make. I mean, there's a reason why the butterfly effect is so freaky, because any small change that you were to decide to make could multiply 100 times or more. And, I, sorry, my screen just went black for a second because I think I timed out. My decisions that I've made have brought me to this point. Every tiny one, every time I reached out to a new connection, standing outside of a conference somewhere, or anything, stopped for a cup of coffee somewhere and ended up chatting with someone from another country. All of those little decisions have influenced where I am in my career and in my life right now. And sometimes people ask me if I could go back and change things in my life, would I? But as I'm learning to accept and love myself for the way that I am, I'm learning to accept and love, or at least show compassion for the situations that have created this version of me. I'm also grateful to the past versions of me for doing the best that they could with the information that they had at the time, making the best decisions possible for future me. And now that I'm present me, I just recognize some of those things that I've worked towards have been monumental in building who I am and where I am today. So I'm grateful to the past versions of me. I'm also really grateful to some of the people that surround me and that have consistently been supports to me, like the Women in Testing Slack group. I've made so many incredible friends through this network of peers that have been built just simply out of, a feeling of community, a feeling of shared work and shared passions and knowledge sharing between all of us to not just contain our knowledge, but share it with others and build upon each other's work and work with each other to create new ideas and new concepts. And not just in testing and not just in software development, but for life. These other folks that are in that network are so welcoming, and there are so many people in there that I admire. And once again, I surround myself with people that I want to be like. And I just appreciate that all of you have allowed me to come into your circles and really embraced me. The whole reason I'm doing this is because I was prompted by an email as I was kind of cleaning through some folders that I received from Jem Hill from the Self-Care Backpack newsletter. And it was all about gratitude. And it reminded me that I went through an affirmations workshop with them. And in this workshop, I was able to reframe some of the things that bother me some days, where I get so wrapped up in negative self-talk and negative self-image. But, there are small joys that I can cling on to. Like if I may not be able to process a difficult situation, I can take a step back now because I've learned how to do this through the workshop and thank myself for doing something that might be unrelated, but thank myself for doing that thing well. So at least right now, I don't have the power to process blah. I am overwhelmed and overstimulated, but I'm at least able to make myself coffee that I really enjoy. And I'm stealing this from Jem because theirs was that they can make a cup of tea very well. But now that I actually make coffee in a French press, I'm rather proud of my coffee. But, on the tough days, at least I can make myself coffee. It's a warm beverage. It gives me a bit of energy. It makes me feel connected to reality sometimes. Just the process and action of creating this thing, even though it's just hot water and grinding coffee beans. But it's something that's a ritual for me now to begin my day. And I'm grateful sometimes that if I know I'm going to have a hard day, I might grind a few extra coffee beans so that I don't have to do that in the morning. give that little gift to myself that I know will, if not bring me joy, at least it'll make my life a little bit easier the next day. And sometimes that's as far as I can think ahead, just the next morning. Sometimes it's hard to even do that, but that's when I reach out to my friends and I ask them for encouragement and supportive reinforcement. Because I'm very grateful that I have good friends that'll do that for me. And you know who you are. I really appreciate the people who reach out to me when I've been quiet for a while and check in on me. Make sure that I'm still around and being kind to myself. Those are the friends that are absolutely invaluable for me, and I appreciate each one of you with my entire soul. Thank you. And one of the biggest things that I'm grateful for is currently asleep on the bed behind me, completely surrounded by soft, warm things. I'm grateful for Liliana of the Dark Realms, my cat, because she's been with me through so much, through 13 years of stress and change and growth and life. And she still curls up in my arms and purrs just like there's not a care in the world in her life. Like she loves me more than anything in the world. And sometimes I need that. I'm a nurturer. I'm a caretaker. I want to protect her. I want to make sure that she has everything that she needs to be happy and live the last couple of years of her life to worry-free happiness and, play and eat good food and sleep on the softest things that I own. I'm just grateful that she's here to vibrate my chest with her constant purring and chirp at me and say good morning. It's one of the most beautiful parts of my day. I have a lot more that I'm grateful for. I'm grateful to my job, my colleagues, the people who have been helping me learn Dutch. I'm grateful for the conference organizers who brought me into their programs this year, allowed me to share my story with other people and hear them and cry with them and laugh with them through their successes and try to support them through their struggles. I have been to more countries this year than I've been to states in the US, I think. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to travel and experience other cultures and ways of life and other conferences and new. I'm grateful to the new. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm sorry, I know there are a lot of pauses in this video, but it's taking everything in me to find words to describe the overwhelming emotion that I feel for everyone who has come into contact with me this year. I have struggled a lot the last few months, and I don't know if I would have been able to find myself again without each of you shining a light and helping show me the way back to myself. You all make such a difference. Even things that don't mean anything to you, like passing by a stranger on the street and giving them a quick smile. It might be the only smile that person sees all day. So thank you for your kindness. And thank you for leading by example, showing the world what kindness looks like, because we could all use a little more kindness right now. Especially my friends back in the States, who at the time of me making this video are currently experiencing the 2024 presidential elections. And I'm grateful that I had the ability to send in my voice in an absentee ballot that has been received and hopefully will be heard. But no matter what happens in the next couple of days or weeks or months or the next 4 years, I'm grateful. I'm grateful that there are people that care in this world. And I care about a lot of you very, very much, which is why I want to encourage you for the remainder of this year to find those people that you care for, and don't be stingy with your love. Tell the people that you love them. Tell the people that you care. Tell people if you're thinking about them, if you're worried about them, if you miss them. Make those connections and foster them, nurture them. Because the people in my life have done so much for me. I'll be forever grateful, but I also like to pay that forward. And I want to help other people too. So if you're struggling with something, if you're celebrating something, share that too, because I want to know what your wins are, what you're happy about, what your tiny joys are. So make those connections, keep them up. And especially those of you who go into this holiday season feeling lost or lonely or like you don't have a family, find your family. Even if you do have a close-knit family, like there's always room for more. It doesn't have to be blood. It can be a family in your heart that you choose. I hope you'll choose joy. Love y'all so much. Happy 2025 upcoming.